Greetings, YouTube. So I finally got around to watching Real Player One the other day, over the Memorial Day weekend in 2021, actually. And I was okay with it. It was a decent little film. It was very pretty. The meme references were fast and furious, and I'm sure I missed most of them. Lots of product placement. They must have gotten some really nice ad money out of this thing. Uh, but it was all right. I gotta tell you, I'm more than a little tired of the main character being a straight white dude. We need more representation. We need people of color. We need people of a greater gender spectrum. We need people of a greater sexual orientation spectrum. Um, we just need more variety that reflects the reality that we're in. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, and in that regard, but I'm not surprised knowing that the demographic it was aimed at. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. No, but what got me is that there are certain things about this film that were really, really illogical, that made no sense to me. Okay, so the film takes place in 2045. All right, 24 years from now. And in that time, the corporations have gained even more control than they do now and have brought back or brought into a reality debtors' prisons. Real debtors' prisons, you didn't have to work in them. They just held your body as collateral while they sold off all your crap or someone paid off your debts until your your creditors were happy, and then they let you out. And you had to pay the prison system itself to get a better accommodation than just some group room full of smelly, stinky bodies. And the best you could get is like a 9 by 9 cell. They weren't particularly generous with those, but you could get prostitutes and all the food you want, and you could sit around and do anything you wanted to. But in Real Player One, they actually put you into labor camps. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna get back to that in a minute. We open up with the film with our main character living in what is known as the stacks. So they've stacked trailers, like trailers and campers and micro homes on top of each other. How do you do the water and plumbing for that? How? How do you make that function? Answer, you don't. There are better methods of achieving the same end than what they came up with. Yes, it was a clever means of showing a shanty town. I get it, but it made zero sense. We then see our main character, who's, what was his, Wade? Yeah, Wade is his name. Go to this big mound of piled cars, and he crawls inside, and you find his man cave, which is where he personally has his own little space. Why he doesn't just stay there all the time, I'm not 100% sure. Why he feels a need to go back and hang out with his aunt is beyond me, because the space, quite frankly, seems to be much more pleasant in many ways than the one he lives in. But maybe he feels a familial connection to a woman who is going to threaten to throw him out if he touches her stuff again. So yeah, they're not what you call a close family. But he goes to his man cave, and I'm like, why is there electricity in there? Why does this structure exist? You're not telling me that people haven't scavenged this thing and continue to scavenge this thing for whatever resources they need to continue building and repairing and expanding their shanty town? And no one has ever found his stash of stuff. No one has ever followed him or seen him go in there. No, I'm telling you. You go ask people who live in the street, who are homeless, who are living rough. What is its chance of your stash remaining hidden for a long term? And they're going to tell you it's zero. So that was complete and utter bull. All right. And then we have the dude that created this great puzzle that if you win it, you get, at the time of 5 years in the past, at 2040, $500 billion worth of stocks options in the most powerful and important company in the world. So probably worth 700, 800 billion by the time that rolls around. When the billions start stacking up, they stack up fast. And of course, another cis, straight white dude whose partner is a cis straight white dude. Yeah, there's a lot of cis straight people in this film. And everybody's trying to find the solution. And one of the ways they do it is the first puzzle's been discovered, and the first puzzle is a race. And you have to get through the race, and when you get through the race, you'll meet an avatar. The avatar will give you a key. When you have the key, then you can go on to the next puzzle. You get how this works. It's a 3-stage process. The problem is that no one's figured out how to win the race. Everybody gets stopped by King Kong, which was, I thought, kind of cute. And he solves it by going backwards. Now, there are millions of people playing this game. Millions. And you're telling me nobody thought to drive backwards? Not just to go in the opposite direction, but to drive in the opposite direction backwards? Hell, you're telling me nobody did that by mistake? Some noob putting his car into reverse by mistake and just going backwards and suddenly finding himself in a new zone. Yeah, that's so damn unlikely. Go see how long it takes after a video game is released for people start to post crashes and glitches and exploits. Go follow the spiffing Brit. He'll show you that it happens before the games are released if you get early access. All right? It's astounding, and that would not have worked. But so apparently it did. And in the process of doing this, our main character meets someone who has the avatar of an attractive woman, and he just makes the conceptual leap that the person attached to the avatar is an attractive woman, which doesn't necessarily hold true. There's no reason that the attractive female straight character is not in fact played by me. Nothing. Okay, so yeah, that was a opportunity lost, I guess. We could have had a little same-sex thing going on there. That would have been a nice change of pace, but I guess that wouldn't have washed well with the masses, now would it? And when they finally meet, you discovered that the girl attached to this, and it's of course a girl in the same age bracket as him. How frigging convenient. Has a birthmark, port wine stain. And she uses hair to cover it up. She's very self-conscious. And he's like, no, it's just a birthmark. And somehow his validation of her is okay. Like the fact that he accepts her for who she is makes everything better when she has not accepted herself. It is some misogynistic crap right there. Okay? Yeah, not cool. Not cool at all. At least she's a revolutionary trying to take down the system. I'll give her that. And willing to use hardcore methods because she actually has his ass kidnapped using the old classic chloroform bit. Of course, the chloroform still works faster than it would have in real life, but that's beside the point. People love the Hollywood version of chloroform, and I can completely understand that. It's a nice little gimmick. So the whole film's like this. Now, the big corporation that's the baddies, they take people, they buy up their debt, and then they force them into labor camps. Okay? But they're not forcing themselves into actual labor camps. They put them into little pods where they go into a virtual world, and then they have to labor in the virtual world of Oasis doing maintenance? Literally, like the main character girl, the main protagonist female, ends up in one of these pods, and she's forced to lay down virtual mines preparing for the next battle in this virtual world. Are you aware how software works? Are you aware that within a couple of clicks on a keyboard and pushing a mouse button that you could make, I can't stop my fingers wearing this thing, I apologize, make all the damn mines you want just appear out of nowhere? That having humans doing that kind of grinding makes no sense. Now, there are types of grinding that humans do in the real world. That's not the kind they show, though. They just have themselves doing simple manual labor of laying down mines. Like explosive mines, not like Minecraft digging in the ground mines. Now, there is grinding that you can that people get paid for in developing nations because people are willing to pay people to do it for them. And you could have done that kind of thing, I guess. But still, I can't imagine it would be cost effective to have an entire indentured staff who can't leave. They are your prisoners doing this. I don't think it would be worth it. And they give them breaks where they get out of the little cells and they get to go hang out and have food and poop and stuff. No, you'd slap those people into machines. You'd poke waste tubes into their body and IV drips into their arms, and you just make them live inside the virtual world doing what you wanted to, if that is how this system would be most efficiently run. But in reality, all of this crap can be done by AI. So yeah, I apologize, I'm loud, it's probably blowing my speakers up, but this just pisses me off. This is just sloppy writing. And then there's a scene near the end where they're desperately trying to do this, to solve this problem. And they're race for time. They're in a van burning across. They're wired. How they have an internet connection this strong while moving to have a virtual reality wireless connection in a moving van is beyond me. This is only 24 years in the future, folks. It isn't that far away. I can't imagine you're going to be able to do virtual reality connections of this degree with full haptic responses and everything in a moving van. No, I don't. Moving through a city with under and over and under things? No, I don't see that happening. I really don't. I think it's kind of absurd. But they finally get there, and the bad guy shows up at the van. Okay, and he gets out, and there's a crowd that's come in because he's murdered people in the stacks. He literally used mercenaries to kill people in the real world by blowing up an entire stack. All right, so he shows up there, and they know who he is. And what does he do? He pulls out a handgun, and the crowd steps back. This isn't Britain. This is set in Columbus, Ohio. Do you have any idea how many goddamn guns there are in the United States? There are more guns in America than there are people. And I don't imagine it's going to be any different in the future. So if he pulled out that gun, he would just get his ass capped. Dead. Someone would just put a round in his skull, probably from the back. But then he begins to move forward and the crowd parts. Now he's got a pistol. Semi-automatic pistol. Maybe 14 rounds in there? Maybe? And there's a crowd of 100, 200 people. There's an old saying, you charge a gun, you run from a knife. He turns his back on them. Do you know how simple it would have been just someone to just walk up behind him while he's moving towards the van and lay a tire iron up the backside of his skull, giving him a TBI if they didn't just outright kill him? I was just like, no, this is not how things work in America. I'm telling you. If I had been present for that, I would have shanked his ass because I know he's about to murder somebody. I would have just gotten people to join, gang rushed himself, gotten that firearm away from him, and beaten him to a bloody fucking pulp, and leave him on the ground for the cops to come get, if there are still cops that give a shit. I don't think I'll be monetizing this video. But yeah, drove me crazy, man. There was just plot holes like this throughout the whole damn thing. It was terrible. And of course, at the end of the film, he divides the money between the 5-person team that helped to complete the mission. So each one's now worth, $200 billion. They're all part of the corporate board. So I guess if you're smart, you've set it up so they can't sell off their stocks or something. They can just take the dividends. So that way they can't, just sell it to somebody else. So yeah, there's probably ways to make sure that this doesn't just get broken up into 5 little corporations. And I'm sure that the people involved did in fact take care of that problem. But I got to tell you, I was really unimpressed by the world building in this. Not to mention the whole too many straight white people, and it was boring in that regard. And the black character that we had, it was a black avatar, is played by a black male avatar was played by a black woman. We don't know her about her particular gender or sexual orientation, but she presented as a woman and used the name Helen in the real world. Um, so yeah, and of course, oh yeah, the Asian kids. One of them knew martial arts in the real world. Yeah, because all Asian people know martial arts. Didn't you know that? It's in their genes. Holy shit. But yeah, lazy writing in this film. I may watch it again because it was entertaining, and I want to see how many of the memes and little blurbs I missed because there were a lot of things written about it in the trivia section on IMDb, and I was like kind of poking around those kind of details. But yeah, tell me what you thought about this movie. Did you think it was worth a darn? And did you think it was silly? Did the world building break your immersion like it broke mine? Because yeah, it was lazy.